J-Man. I am Jason, defender of geekdom. My true calling in life was revealed to me the day I had discovered YouTube. I have the power! I became J-Man, the most powerful geek in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. My friends Steven, Owen, and Sean. Together, we defend geekdom from the evil forces of social media. J-Man.
Hey guys, J-Man here in the Phantom Zone, and we're going to be talking about some Spawn today. This is the first stream we're doing about Spawn, specifically Spawn. So we're going to keep that to the topic. I will give a couple of quick updates before we get into that. And also, I'm inviting people on as well who want to talk about Spawn. We're not going to cover anything specific, really, just general Spawn talk. So if anybody wants to come on, I'll get everybody on. Hey, Arkham, how's it going? So a couple of quick updates. Tomorrow's stream is going to be another space opera stream, and we're getting down to we don't have everybody yet. This is a long process. You don't just pick a winner in a week or two, but here's where we're at right now. So Yor has qualified into the tournament, and Battle Beyond the Stars has qualified, and Space Raiders, in a miraculous win, beat out Ice Pirates to a lot of people's questioning. Everyone's like, what happened? What happened there? So Space Raiders did win, and tomorrow night we're going to be doing the 2 long 3D titles. So Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin 3D versus Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone 3D, which we're just simply saying Metal Storm versus Space Hunter. That'll be tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to see which one of those is better. This one, I have a very clear picture of who I think is better, but we're going to see what everyone else thinks. So we'll go from there. So that's going to be tomorrow night. This Monday, I believe this Monday I will be on Clobberin Time's channel discussing DC Comics Presents issue number 29 with the Spectre, Jim Starlin. I think the next one after that is the first appearance of Mongol. So that's exciting. I love DC Presents, so we're going to talk about that on Monday. Tuesday, Steven and I are going to talk about wrestling. And then Thursday, we'll probably just do a completely open mic chat, talk about whatever we want to talk about. I've got my tickets for Halloween Ends. I've got my tickets for Black Adam. So that'll be, gosh, that's all coming up this month. So there's a lot going on this month. Woo! All right. So let's get in our regulars here first. Hello, Steve.
AJ, man. Just a note. It's Wednesday next week for wrestling.
It's Wednesday next week for wrestling. You're right. Okay, so I will. I have not posted that yet, so I will. Let me actually. You know what? And I can fix that up. Let me fix that. I'll fix that up. That was for the 20th, so it's gonna be the 29th. Is that what it's gonna be?
29th. We're in October next week.
I mean, sorry. It'll be the 5th.
Yeah.
It's covering the 29th.
Oh, it's covering 29th. Okay.
I'm sorry. It's covering the yeah, that's what I was trying to say. All right. So I'm going to keep this is going to be a little weird because I'm going to keep monitoring the Facebook group as well, because people from the Spawn Facebook group might want to join. So I have to kind of monitor that. Yeah. All right. So while we're waiting on that, let's bring in our next
Hey,
all right. Hey, what's going on?
Sean, okay.
So yeah, let's. I think so Arkham's in the chat, and I think I'm just checking Facebook to see, because it's one of these things where the admins have to approve everything, and they're gonna see this and think, oh, it's like some self promotion thing, even though I'm like talking about their group, and I'll put up their, I'll actually put their group up, like I'll actually put the link to their group in here. But
we'll see who the Spawn fans are.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of these like kind of hangout groups or whatever, it's mostly just like they'll put a picture and be like, "Oh, that's cool," or "That looks interesting." I find that, you know, I don't know what happened to like geekdom in general, but it used to be you couldn't get people to shut up. Remember that? Like,
Yeah.
you'd go to, you know, it's Sean, right? Like, it's like you'd go to the comic shop and then you'd accidentally get into a conversation because you just can't help yourself. And you know, somebody's saying, "Oh, you know, this is trash," or "This is great," and you're like, "Yeah, that's great," and then you're like, "Okay, now I'm here for an hour."
Yeah,
talking.
We all know a mutual friend and not mutual friends.
Yeah,
that would talk till, and we were at their place till like 1 or 2 in the morning,
right.
when they would tell you everything about Yoda, everything about like Star Wars that they know. Everything about like what it's like, let me tell you about this comic, and let me tell you about this comic means let me tell you about every panel and every issue,
right,
and all the character arcs. It's like and it's like it's passion, you know, but so you can't fault it. But it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna be here forever.
Yeah, and like what happened now? You can't get anybody. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram and all that, and they're willing to, you know, have it out with you. And then as soon as you invite them, I've invited so many people who have argued against me.
Yeah.
I've invited them to the stream. I've put links and saying, "Come in," and they will not, right? No. But they're very comfortable with their little key, you know, the keyboard warriors. They're very comfortable. It's like, come talk face to face or whatever. I won't even be mean to them. It's like, I'm not gonna yell at a human being like,
no,
like, you know. But like they won't come on, so it's just weird. It's like, why don't you want to? But yeah, I mean, nerds used to argue all the time.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be arguing with anybody." Like, why not? It's like I love having conversations about this kind of stuff. And when we don't agree, it's our mutual friend. I can say Owen because Owen is on here.
Yeah.
Owen's brother posted a review on a movie that I did not like. And he was warned by Owen. It's like, if you post this, J-Man is going to give you. Now, I didn't know this. He's like, J-Man's going to give you a long ass explanation as to why you're wrong. Yeah. And I did. It was funny too because I didn't know he had been warned, and it was long ass things. So you know you're completely wrong. And then he's like, "Yeah, I was warned that this might happen," and that just made me laugh even more. Because obviously I don't care. Look, I buy a lot of garbage movies that people think are garbage, and even I think they're garbage, and I buy these movies anyways because I just want to own them, and that's just how it goes. So I'm
opening one right now. So
which one is that?
The Spookies.
Oh, you got Spookies.
I love the part where the guy jumps through the door and he makes himself a missile to jump through the door and bore a hole through it. It's hilarious.
Man, I gotta like, I mean, I really have to rewatch that. That's like a childhood one that I never saw again.
It's like one of the gremlin exploitation, I guess.
Ghoulies, munchies, critters, munchies,
hobgoblins.
You could say troll. You could say troll, I guess.
Yeah.
The first troll.
Which is what J.K. Rowling ripped off, but
no, I know. There's the Harry Potter thing. The dad is Harry Potter, which was
crazy. I don't know,
is really surreal when you rewatch Troll, because nobody talks about Troll 1.
Yeah.
And when you rewatch Troll 1, you're like, the guy's name's Harry Potter. This is
and he
so
has glasses,
crazy.
And he's learning wizardry. It's like, this is weird.
This is weird. Now, I mean,
it's coincidence, but it's
gotta be
so crazy, you know?
It's very surreal because I owned that movie from a long time ago, and then I was like, you never watched it. I watched Troll 1 so again, who cares?
Yeah.
Troll 2 is the awesome movie because that was the shit one, right?
Troll 1's okay.
Troll 1 is, but Troll 1 is like, okay, so
it's not known for being one of the worst films ever, or whatever,
right? And it's not great. Like it's like a 4 or 5.
It's not daring. No one's telling anyone not to piss on hospitality, right?
Right, so. and you know I've got that clip. So
you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow
it. I won't allow it. Yeah, that guy's a dentist.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah. And remember, he had to tighten his belt. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "Well, first I'm gonna tighten my belt to stop the hunger pains."
So we saw Troll 2 in our local cinema, and that guy was there, and in the audience was the kid, and I guess he lives in Toronto, and they're like, oh my god. So then they reenacted that whole scene. He picked the guy up. They're both grown men.
Yeah.
He picked him up, he put him over his shoulder, he walked up onto the stage, he threw him down, and he did the whole speech about piss on hospitality.
Yeah, I've got the
and
autographs.
and then he did the belt too. So yeah.
Oh, no, it's like I gotta tighten. I'm gonna tighten up my belt, and then I'm gonna tell your sister and mother to tighten their belts.
There's a lot of belt tightening going on in that household, man.
That movie is surreal. It is so awesome. That popcorn thing and all that. It's like so weird.
Yeah.
And
it
Control
served
2.
green popcorn at the theater too.
Was it
So remember you're eating. Oh, sorry, Steve. 1 second. Remember, Sean, you were eating your green popcorn. I was like, "Is there something weird with this popcorn? Why is there all this weird?" And then because the lights were dark, and then when we could see, it's like, "Oh, it's green." They try to make it green. That's
like
so funny.
The movie.
Like the thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Slumber Party Massacre. I always remember you showing me that the guy going into his pants for the key.
Oh, that's that. Okay, so you gotta get your massacres right.
All right.
That is Sorority House
Sorority
Massacre 2,
right?
Which continues from Slumber Party Massacre, which is not the same series, because I watched all of those movies, all 5 in like a weekend, and I watched Sorority House Massacre 1. I was like, okay. Then I watched Sorority House Massacre 2. I'm like, this doesn't continue from Sorority House Massacre 1. And I'm like Hochstetter. I'm like, that's Slumber Party Massacre's killer. I'm like, oh my god, they continued from the wrong series, which automatically made Sorority House Massacre 2 the best movie ever. Like it didn't even continue. They didn't even bother to watch. How do I remember all these things? Because it's weird. It's just like, why is this happening right now? I couldn't. Sorority House Massacre 2 is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece of cinema. There's so much nudity for no reason. They're literally in what they call like it's lingerie, but they're like, it's their 90s, or they're in 90s the whole movie. You're like, I can't. It's not even funny where you're like, because Slumber Party Massacre is pretty schlocky.
Yeah.
But Sorority House Massacre 2 is freaking schlock mania, man. It's awesome. You could see the bottle squirting the blood.
Yeah.
Like there's like a shadow of the thing. There's just like, and the blood squirt. You could see the shadow of the guy pumping and it's a ketchup bottle that you use at like one of those restaurants, and it's like a diner bottle where it's like a generic red one. It's like, you can see it squirt. Like, I can't. They don't even care. They didn't even bother to care. Like,
I just remember the guy going deep into his pants for the key, and I was crying. I'm like,
"Are you the girls taking over the old Hochstetter house?" It's like, yeah. It's like, well, you're gonna need this, and you're like, what? And he pulls out. He's like, here's the key to the thing. I'm like, I don't.
It's not even a spike out. It's just like, it's way too on the nose. But yeah,
I know, but
it's just what does he have the key there normally? And
right, the thing, because but see, this is what I'm saying. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
because I guarantee you wouldn't have thought of it. And right?
Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have been like, okay, so the girls need the key. Creepy guy comes and gives them a key. Not he's been carrying the key in his pants.
And you remember it for like 30 years. It's like
I remember that my whole life. Ever since as soon as I saw Sorority House Massacre 2, Steve didn't even remember which movie it was.
Right.
Because you said Slumber Party, but you remembered that scene though.
Yeah.
It's like that left an impression. So that
definitely.
But I love
I will be sitting at work, and that scene will come to me, and I'll just burst out laughing. There's no context. A-double-C. I hope you're keeping safe. I heard Ian is really doing some damage in Florida.
Yeah, I think Double C, last time we chatted on Tuesday, I think you were doing okay, right? So I
depends where you are in Florida, right? So
I think he's still okay, but like I saw where the hurricane was hitting. I'm like,
yeah. So I haven't heard from Joe.
Joe's in Chicago.
But Joe was okay too, right? Yeah, he was in Chicago. That's right. So, but on Double C, I got a shout out from Lacey Evans, so I'm gonna play that on just the short clip. Just her just saying, "Hey, J Man."
Just random, like, "Hey, J Man." I'm like, why is Lacey Evans shouting out J Man?
Yeah, no, it was a long clip. It's like 30 seconds or whatever. I was on her stream.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and she's like, I'm going live. I'm like, holy shit. So I went on there. I was like, hey, this is J Man from Toronto. I just said Toronto, Canada. It's just easier because I know this.
Yeah, they don't know what
Yeah.
Ontario is, right?
They can't pronounce where I actually am. I'm like, Toronto's good.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So she's like, hey, J Man. She's like, oh, last time I was in Canada, it's like I couldn't come back home because there was like a hurricane or whatever. So I stayed in Canada. It was a great vacation. It was awesome. Yeah. I'm like, this is like awesome. So,
it was super. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I'm clipping this, and but I only clipped the "Hey J Man" part, which I thought was funny. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Spawn, since that's sort of the purpose for this. Let me see if I can't see. It still says pending on my Facebook group, so I'm just going to start. I guess Steve, you're the newest to Spawn. I guess we can. Did I force you into this, or
no? It when. Shot's already laughing.
I think I did force him because I'm like, here, you need to read all these Spawn comments now.
You were basically, I was sitting there reading DC and just not being happy with a lot of things, especially like DC and Batman was sort of slowly dying a death. As slow a death as that whole Gotham Tower storyline was.
Oh, I could not stand that Gotham Tower story.
Robin and Nightwing are still awesome, but like everything else I was just sort of like, and like Suicide Squad, which I've literally followed for a decade.
Yeah.
Was starting to really piss me off. And so you're like, hey, Image Comics, just try Spawn. I'm like. And I just acted like a drowning man, and you threw me a bit of a life raft. I'll try it. Like, God help me, I'll try it. I'm just not happy with where things are in the comic book world. Other than my Hulk and Spider-Man classic stuff that I'm reading, because I'm not reading any of the new stuff. Yeah. So it wasn't so much. It was you suggesting it, not forcing me, and me saying, yeah, I'll check it out, because it just wasn't good. It wasn't satisfying me anymore as a reader.
It wasn't Snickers. It didn't satisfy.
It wasn't Snickers at all.
So how far? So I've read King Spawn 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
I will catch up to King Spawn this week. I've read all of Scorched and all of Gunslinger. And for Spawn, it's weird. I've read the last 2 issues, but I haven't read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. There's 5 that I have not read of Spawn, but I've read the latest ones. So it's like the last 2 or 3 I've read, but the 5 before that I didn't read, but before that I've read. So I've read 300 to 326, and I own a lot of these. So I went back and I own everything for Scorched, everything for Gunslinger, and everything for King Spawn. For Spawn, I'm missing 1 to 299. But I'm also missing like 5. It's like 318, 19, 20, 21. It's something like that. Like it's like a middle section I'm missing of Spawn. So you've been getting them all. You've been getting them all digital, right, Steve? You don't have any of the physical ones. So for the digital ones, have you caught up to everything, or no? Are you behind?
No,
Do you know the numbers or no?
Yeah, I just think I finished I'm at 313 now for Spawn.
Spawn, yep.
And I'm just doing it based on that list you sent me. So I'm going to go up to 318 and then read the universe.
Yep.
And then start splitting off into the other ones. I'm literally following your list.
Yeah, you know what? So I stopped following that list because it didn't really matter that much.
It didn't matter. Oh, okay.
No, it didn't matter that much. I tried, like it wasn't like Sean's gonna know the triangles. It's not like the Superman triangles where you had to read certain ones.
Yeah,
a little bit. So basically, what I did was, I've got like 6 or 7 to read of King Spawn, but I've caught up on Scorched and Gunslinger, so it doesn't matter too much. What I ended up doing was, but you do need to read 318, then Spawn's Universe. After you read Spawn's Universe,
do what you want.
You can do what you want.
Yeah.
So you're just about. So what did my list say? I still have that. Hold on. Oh no, I don't think I have that.
I'm almost at 318. So I'll be at 318 next time. We talk, or by next, if we do another Spawn stream,
we will do another one.
Past 318.
Okay, so let me look at my deleted, because I still have it in my deleted items, I think. Yeah, I do. Yeah, so then it was Spawn's universe, and then it was then they all started to split up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter after that. Just if you read Spawn's universe, you'll see basically like the starting off point for all these other ones. Really, if someone's going to start right now, I would say get Spawn's universe and then just get Gunslinger, King Spawn, Scorched, and Spawn 319 or whatever, and just go from there.
Yeah.
Because Spawn's universe really kind of like restarted that entire thing. Not restarted it, but like that's really a jumping off point.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's all. That's good. That's good. Double C.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've read the first. So well, what are your thoughts? What do you like Spawn? Like, so did you read issue 1 or?
I read issue 1 and 2.
Yeah, just to get like sort of the.
Just to get grounded on the style.
Yeah.
I really like 1 and 2 a lot, actually.
Yep.
The art is obviously better now. Like it's been a bit more refined.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The one thing about Spawn is they'll mention stuff, and I mean it's very, very non-linear to me. It's like they'll mention stuff like he'll be here talking to like Downing, and I'm like, sure, okay. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it seems that every issue he's dealing with a new thing, and it's not necessarily tied directly to what he was facing on the last thing. There are occasions when he is, right? When he's got Overkill in that, and the other one he's with them for a while. But like I find it very interesting. Like I know you warned me about the 3 commentators thing, and that didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Because
they're fun.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like you have the crazy conspiracy theorist, and you have the the button up professional, right, and all that. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He's been doing that since the beginning. So I'm like, whatever. It's
the
not
conspiracy theory guys in a different thing every time.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're just like, yeah, this guy's too crazy. It's like he just starts a new. He's at a new place.
The character who I'm really liking right now is Jessica Priest. I really like
she's awesome.
And it's just because like Spawn is so tied up in what he's doing and like trying to deal with all these split offs and everything. She seems to not grounded, but she seems to be not losing it. So she's almost like, Al, what are you doing? What's your problem? Why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And usually that character is the annoying character who's like, why are you doubting the main character? But in this comic, you have reason to doubt Spawn because he is like doing stuff and you're like, why is he doing this? This is like weird. So I really like that. Obviously Gunslinger, I know J-Man, he's your favorite.
Gunslinger is the greatest thing ever.
Gunslinger was great. Only disappointment right now is I really like Clown, and Clown is dead apparently.
Don't worry about that one.
Because he was in 1 and 2. He was the what the hell was the name of the creature he was?
Violator.
The Violator.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was an awesome bait and switch because it's just a stupid fat clown. You're like, who? This guy's supposed to be so deadly. It's like, oh, he's the Violator. Okay, cool.
And John Leguizamo.
Yeah, John. I can't.
I know.
I can't. Like, I hear John Leguizamo's voice whenever he.
That's one of the greatest special effects ever, and it's like the 90s or something. It's crazy. Yeah.
Very skeptic.
Was Spawn a good Spawn movie?
Well,
if you're a Spawn fan, it's awesome.
I mean, I like. Well, let Steve complete your thought, and then we'll talk about the Spawn. We'll talk about
so I really like the style. I like the fact that it is heaven and hell are both the enemies. It's not just one or the other. It's both.
Right.
I find the characters really cool. The designs are awesome.
For sure.
And there's actually action in it, which is missing from a lot of comics. Yeah. Like there's fights and murders and stuff, and you're like, wow, remember when people did stuff and I read about them instead of spending 30 pages talking on a couch about their problems? Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Literally, there's like 7 or 8 X-Men books a month, and literally 5 or more of them have there's the Quiet Council which talks. Then there's the Mars Iraqi whatever they're called that talk. Then there's that treehouse area in X-Men where they talk and discuss. I swear to God, I'm not lying. Watch my videos. Go back and watch. Please go back and watch it because I need views. But go back and watch them for your own. It's like, oh look, they're talking again. I'm like, I don't. The reason why I care about X-Men is because I want to see the mutants fight guys. I always thought X-Men was like the best because it was like, yeah, it's a team of awesome characters. They all look cool and they go and beat the crap out of people. That X-Men beat 'em up game is like, it's still, Steve's got the full game, the full version, the arcade 1-up version. That game is X-Men to me. They're just fighting all these cool.
It's like all fighting,
It's just all fighting, right? Like I thought it was way better than Avengers, and it's like now classic X-Men and classic Avengers are all good. Obviously, that's all good. But I'm talking about later on. Later on, Avengers got boring to me, right?
Yeah, around that time, X-Men they came up with new characters every issue, and they're fighting new guys with like more outlandish styles and stuff. And, yeah, it's like when Strife appeared as one of the greatest designed characters. He's awesome,
Right. Yeah. And that all went to, and I read Avengers when they did after the Heroes Reborn or whatever, Heroes Return. I read that Avengers. I thought that Avengers was pretty good. But that was the last good Avengers. After that, it was garbage. But X-Men was still cool. It's like, yeah, there's cool stuff. They're fighting people. And you can still have your stupid drama and all that, but like I need to have some fights. Like what the hell is it's almost like it was what Rob Liefeld said at Constipated Comics. It's like you've got these writers, they think they're Tolkien, they think they're Shakespeare, they're writing these big great epic novels. It's like the same.
They don't know what comics were supposed to be. Comics are a visual medium, right? So that's why there's like lots of action and stuff. You can still tell a story. It's like like people scored over Dark Knight Returns, and that's still like got exciting stuff in it, right?
Sure.
But he's making points, right? But like guys just like sitting around and talking is not cartooning. Like that's not what is that? You know
exactly.
You're paying an artist to just draw a guy talking to another guy. I'm like, why even bother? Make it an audio play then.
Yeah, they think. Rob Liefeld said this just the other day. He's like, they think because they're playwrights. That's exactly what he said. They're playwrights, right? I don't know if you heard that one, Sean. It's like just in the recent one, he's like, they're playwrights. And it's like they want to have all this big drama and this big thing. It's like, yeah, but what am I reading this for? Like, you picked up, Gunslinger to me blew me away. It's like right away.
Is the most classic of the comics, but we'll talk about that.
Well, this is I knew, well, Sean, I knew you were going to, Jay's going to love Gunslinger. Because it's like literally, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like that Ritter Stone guy, and it's like and then there's another dude that's after him. It's like this guy looks even more pumped up. Like, I know. Like, that Saboteur dude with like a thing around his head, and it's like I
was like, this guy's awesome. And Gunslinger's like, F this, I'm going to destroy all these pieces of crap. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Hey.
I've seen. I can't remember. I've seen you on. Is it on Facebook or on Twitter? I don't know, but I definitely I recognize. I think, not sure if you've been on the stream before, Pittsburgh, but thanks for popping in. So that was the problem, like with these comics, like these new ones are boring, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And Nightwing was pretty cool. And Robin was actually pretty good, and I didn't mind Batman. Detective Comics was not good. All the other ones were not good. Action Comics is like the worst storytelling
I haven't read the latest
long time.
Yeah.
Did you get Action 1047?
Yes, that's the latest one, right?
Yeah.
It's like a new beginning.
A new beginning. Okay. I skipped.
I haven't read it yet, though.
I haven't read it yet. You know what? You're right. Because Scorched came out, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta read Scorched. I can't. You know what I mean? Like,
I have it though. I have it back here. But
yeah, so I've got it too. I have it.
Yeah.
I literally bag and board them. I'm like, I'll read this whenever.
The art on the cover was good.
On Action, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. The cover looked pretty nice. The green when he's flying out in the
yeah. Back in the day, that would have been all that was needed. The art on the cover looks good. I'm buying it. That's all that was needed back in the day.
And he looks like George Reeves.
Yeah, he does. It looks like old school. Yeah. So that's nice. That's nice. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yeah. So anyway, so Sean, you collected, then you stopped, then you came back, or no? What happened?
Yeah, I collected up to maybe 60 around there. I have some gaps that I'm gonna fill at this the next show we go to. But
you're not coming to this one, right?
No, I can't. No.
Yeah. So the Toronto one,
mid October. Yeah, the good one, man.
Yeah. Well, this one's not bad. I mean,
I know, but like the other one's just too awesome.
The other one is like super
It's like everyone loses their mind there, and like you could buy like tons of comics.
No, you lose your mind there. Why?
Like, but the people selling the comics lose their.
That's where Sean buys. That's where Sean buys the same comic at the show twice. I'm like, he's like,
it's not that one. It's not it's not the Monte Casino one.
Oh, it wasn't that one. Okay.
No.
Where you bought the same comic? I'm like, you just bought that.
Sectars.
Because we show each other. Right? Sean's like, oh, I'm going to pick up these ROM comics. I'm like, awesome. Then we're at this other thing. He's like, oh, I might grab these ROMs. I'm like, you literally just bought that. You're like, did I?
Go crazy, man.
I'm like, wait. I was like, are you serious right now? He's like, no, I don't think I got these. and then he went and checked. He's like, okay, I gotta go. He went to the side check. He's like, oh yeah, I did buy them. I'm like, this is like insane. It's like you. What was that? What was that skit on Dave Chappelle where the guy? Where he slaps him and then he comes back. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He's like, "You slapped me." He's like, "That was 2 weeks ago." It was Rick James.
Oh, Rick James. Yeah.
He's like, drugs are dangerous.
And they cut back to him. It was like cocaine is a nasty drug or something.
So they're at this party, and then Rick James comes over and slaps the guy in the face and starts yelling at him, and then walks away. And then 1 minute later, he comes over. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he's like trying to talk to him. He's like, dude, you slapped me. What are you doing? It's like, get her out of here. He's like, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I could watch those Charlie Murphy things all day. They're so great. It's like he tells a story and then he reenact it.
Yeah,
it's like Prince is like playing basketball and it's like freaking he doesn't even change, right? Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, he come back to it, he's like, man, cocaine is bad.
He's a bad drug.
It's like he goes, that was 2 weeks ago. It's like, what? Anyway, all right. So yeah,
Spawn. I mean, I was into it like everyone else when it came out. And then I wasn't after a while. Like I think after the movie and the hype and the HBO show, after the hype kind of died down, that's around issue 60 or so.
Yep.
And at that point, I just kind of fell off. It fell off all of comics actually around that time.
Yep.
And then I would go back every so often. Like I have some weird like 100s and some 200 like random ones. Right. And I'm like, okay, I guess I was coming back. And around that time I was getting more and more into fantasy, which is where it's at now. Original Spawn was more like I guess he was trying to make like a Batman type guy because he would fight criminals that I can't really mention here because you'd get a strike. Right. But like very controversial stuff. And at the time I'm like,
well, Kincaid's back anyways. So
what?
Kincaid is back anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. But
yeah, he's back and he's back.
Yeah.
With Solemn 137 or whatever it is.
Yeah. But back then they were more explicit about what he did, right? And also like Klansmen and stuff he'd fight. I remember that was a controversy on like Entertainment Tonight or something like that. But you know, Spawn was big business and I liked all that stuff. And then it got more into like, you know, there's a flying car and there's like, you know, and all sorts of other weird stuff, right? What I liked about it back then was it was just a cool way to showcase new monsters they came up with. And when I came back, so I went back to comics like in the past few years or so when the pandemic hit. And then when a certain online service went kaput, I went back to the stores And then, you know, I would buy things I wanted to buy, but I was like, you know what? Let me branch out and let me get stuff I that looks cool and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, Spawn. Holy crap, they're in the 300s. Like I kind of knew that, but I was like,
yeah,
oh, let me go back into the. Now there's like other ones, and what the hell, man? So I was like, it looks like an exciting time for Spawn because these other ones are fairly new. Let me see, right? So I was reading Spawn, King Spawn. King Spawn was weird to me because I was like, it's just not a Spawn title, but it's like another scenario.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Because I thought it was going to be like a King Spawn guy or something. But
I literally thought it was going to be right. I thought it was going to be a new,
a
new
Spawn,
guy.
Yeah.
King Spawn, but it's really just Al.
Yeah. Scorched was interesting because I was like, oh, it's like Avengers, but like freaking all the Spawn characters. Like, that's clever. You've made all these guys. Why not team them up, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it's She-Spawn leading.
Yeah,
Gunslinger, Medieval, Redeemer. I'm like, this is like the greatest thing ever. Like, I don't.
Yeah, and I enjoyed when I was reading Spawn, like the newer ones. I enjoyed that, like all these classic characters that I remember. Like everyone wrote Spawn off as like some sort of fly by night thing, but to see these characters after 300 issues, is pretty emotional because it's like a Redeemer. Like I have first appearance of Redeemer. I have first appearance of all those guys, and it's like it's kind of cool to see that they've had a whole history and backstory, and they're like now classic guys. They're like 30-year-old characters, you know. And I was like, oh my god, Overkill. I remember the thing about Overkill is that he's from one of those, you could see this on YouTube, but one of those videos where Stan Lee is with the guys, and then he goes, make up a character, right? So Rob Liefeld makes up Overkill. Like you see the birth of Overkill, like right in front of your eyes. Like he just, let's put a thing on here and all that.
And they do the font.
Yeah,
and they do the font and everything.
Yeah,
and Todd is great in that too. Todd's like, we got to do this and that.
Yeah, he's like chipping in and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, like this character's still around, you know, and they just made this guy. But yeah, no, that was
Stanley trying to take credit. He's like, by the way, I own this character.
Yeah, he's joking, right? But yeah,
he's joking. Sort of.
What I like about Spawn right now is that there's a lot of classic throwback stuff that like isn't really throwback. They've always done it, but it's stuff that you don't see in comics anymore. Narration boxes really help. It really helps with the tone and mood of what you're reading, and with internal thought as well. It's so effortless and smooth in these books. And that's not something you really see in the other stuff anymore. And it's something that like you read as a kid, like the yellow boxes, and now they're sort of like, you know, goldish, but
yeah, they're gold with yellow writing or whatever.
Yeah, and just like what Steve was saying, there's a guy that you have to fight, and then the fight may go into the next issue, and you could totally follow all of that and understand it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I think Spawn right now is some of the best stuff. And I feel like right now there is a renaissance for Spawn because I know they're coming out with all these collections now, the compendiums and everything. Yeah. Collect like 50 issues each and all that. And there's now smaller ones too. But I was in the comic shop just what's today? Thursday? I was in the comic shop yesterday. And there's a dude there and he was like, oh yeah, you know, like, is Spawn good? And the guy who was at the shop, he's like, yeah, you know, do you remember Spawn? Well, I was here in 95 and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, let me get you the compendium. You can read like 1 to whatever there. And then from there, there's a whole bunch of good stuff right now because there's all these different things. Gunslinger Spawn is, as I said, the best throwbacky one because he's a cool character in that he's the weakest Spawn. And I like his attitude about everything, and he gets all mad at the images on those computers, and he shoots them and stuff.
That was the greatest thing that ever happened. He's like, oh my god! He goes, we're being surrounded by the enemy, and he goes, and the two nerdy guys, he's like,
oh my god!
He goes, they're so composed, like this is. It's like he goes, they're so brave and everything, and then he's like, I'm coming in. Like, what is this man doing? So Steve, they've got these huge screens. It's tech nerds, right? So they've got all these big screens around, and they've got like all of the bad guys are on the screen, and they're it's like basically like the bio, right? It's like, okay, here's this guy, And Gunslinger is from the 1800s, so he doesn't know that that's just a screen. He thinks they're there.
Yeah.
He thinks the villains are there, and he's like, "Oh my god, these two nerds are they're surrounded by enemies, and they're not shaking or nervous." And he's like, "Wow, this is great." And then he's like, he just destroys the entire. And they're like, "You just destroyed all of our equipment." And he's like, "So wait, they weren't there? Like, wait, what's going on?"
Yeah. I mean, look, J-Man, you texted me and said, like, is Spawn good? And I'm like, it's pretty good. I don't know, man. It's like, it's refreshing because it doesn't seem like it's been, like, poisoned in any sort of way. It is exactly what it always was. The cool monsters, they fight guys, everyone has powers. You know, like there's 100 guys in King Spawn, you know.
Oh my
god.
God,
and those big the soul devourers are basically his sentinels, basically. Like they're awesome, you know.
They're awesome.
And
did you see the guy who creates them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but if you like comics the way they used to be cool, yeah, you're gonna love all of these Spawn titles, you know. So it's pretty cool to go back to from like a long time ago. It's like I'm coming back home, really. And like all these characters are familiar to me, and it's like they used to be seen as fly by night, and now they're like, wow, these guys have been around for like 30 years. It's like it's funny because when we were kids, Spider-Man was about 25 to 30 years old, and it was like, oh gosh, you know, like oh, it seems so far back, you know, like lots of stuff to collect and everything. The Spawn stuff you can collect easily. It's still, I think it's now creeping up in price after, 30 years. But those early things, like, I don't know, like I don't think I'm sitting on a gold mine with my 1 to 60.
You can get like,
I'm sitting on a gold mine.
I mean, issue 3, like at the last show we were just at, Sean the Toy Show, the guy was selling Spawn comics. They're like $5 a piece.
Yeah.
So like that's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5.
Affordable. It's probably the same thing for Savage Dragon as well. But
I kept my Savage Dragons actually, but I didn't have that many. I didn't have that many Spawn. I did 1 to 50, and I sold them because I was getting rid of. I never got out of comics big time, but I got out of a lot of just like other stuff, like other comics. I was like, I'm not going back to Spawn that often. I'm like, I'll just, I think at that point I had missed like 20 issues or something. I'm like, obviously I'm not getting back into this. And the only reason we even spoke was because you happened to mention on one of your videos.
Because I'm diving back into Spawn a bit here.
Yeah.
And but the thing too is, just one more point I want to make too is that I feel like Spawn's biggest selling point and the reason why there's somewhat of a resurgence in interest is because he's in the 300s. This is a character. I mean, you said it. You got rid of your comic. Like this is a character everyone kind of wrote off as disposable. And just of a time, and he isn't. I mean, he's here to stay, and it's record breaking, as Tom loves to emblazon on his covers, that it's the longest running. It beats Cerebus. It's the longest running, which you didn't hear about till like a few months ago.
And it was so funny too because just the other day on Clobby's channel they were talking about Cerebus. It was like, that was like a. He
was in Spawn, like him and Spawn teamed up at one point in the first 10 or so. But now it's like people like, well, it must be good. Let's see, and there's now a Spawn family of titles, which is a long time coming. I have some. I mean, there were always miniseries. Like I have Violator, the old Violator.
Right.
I think that was Alan Moore.
My God, was it?
You look it up. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Alan Moore.
Yeah,
he just
was doing
it's not profound or anything.
Because he was doing Supreme. Right? He did a lot of Supreme issues.
Yeah,
I think I have some of the. I have to look. I have so many random Supreme comics where I'm missing ones here and there. I'll do a share screen in a second here. Let's look up share screen.
Violator miniseries.
Yeah, let's look it up.
I packed that when I had to go on an away game when I was like 16 or something. I think I packed that for
Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember I collected them all, and I was like, okay, and now I'm going to read them. and I read them in Indianapolis. I was staying with a family there, and yeah, it's awesome, man. Look how Wicked Violator always looked.
Yeah, I know. Have you seen the new Violator figure?
No.
This is it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he looks chunkier.
Yeah, they chunked him up. This is him coming. Well, you know, spoilers. Clown is back, so this is him coming back. I mean, we know Clown's not gone. But I was thinking about grabbing this. Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking about grabbing this this figure. I've got. I actually had the old She Spawn figure, but this is the one I have right now.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. The new one.
So this new one, and Sean was there. Now I actually had this when it came out.
Oh yeah.
And I actually prefer the new one, to be honest. I actually think the new She Spawn is better than the old one.
Oh yeah.
This to me looks like amazing. Amazing.
Now, did you get the original toys when they first came out? Because they were everywhere. Yeah. Yes. Do you have them still?
No, I sold them all. You were with me when I sold them all.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, this is cool, and then you kind of sell. You don't think it's gonna be worth anything. I think they're still not. You know,
they're not really. And actually, for Spawn, I don't mind upgrading because I don't have a childhood attachment to them.
Right.
So I'm okay with saying, well, that old She Spawn doesn't look good to me. I'd rather get the new She Spawn, which looks better. So I sold the old one and got the new one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting Redeemer.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good. He's not that expensive on Amazon either. Oops. I don't want to go to this. But like, you know, like that's pretty, well, here's the regular one.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, the thing is he made himself his own toy company. And he can make, like, if you think any of these characters are cool, just wait. Because they're coming out. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh, did you see
each guy, yeah.
The new wave is crazy.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, they're just getting more crazy. Like this was Redeemer when he first appeared. Which I just thought was like literally this page. I looked at this page. Redeemer, let's go first. Okay. Yeah, like wow, it's the same picture. I'm trying to find a better quality of it. This page, I was like, I looked at this page 4,000 times. I'm like, wow, this is the greatest.
Every time he talks, there's like a cross instead of like a point for his.
Oh, I love that. I love that, man. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God, I've got this issue. No. And then like Scorched. Actually, let's do Gunslinger. Yeah, so I was getting really annoyed with DC and Marvel. I thought, let me go back and like, you know, go back to Spawn because like I saw Sean was picking it up and whatever. I thought, let me go back. And I remember 300 coming out and it being a big deal. They're like, oh, it's hit 300. This is a big thing. I was thinking, wow, 300, that's crazy.
Cool.
And then I'm like, oh, I've got to get back into these or whatever. And then I just never did. I almost bought 300 when it came out just to buy it, to have it.
Yeah.
You could still get it like easily. There's so many covers and it's just like you can basically pick the cover you want. But like Gunslinger, man, like look how awesome that is. Like
yeah.
Like he's just the best. I don't have this figure. I actually have the one with the Gatling gun, which I'm not seeing here. It's the same figure, just this is the one I have. He has the two pistols plus this Gatling gun, man. I love this cover with him. There's your spoilers. There's Clown. So Clown returns in Gunslinger and they fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's Chunky Violator.
Chunky Violator, yeah.
Well, that's because of what happened, right?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, Steve hasn't read it yet, so we don't have to spoil it because I mean, whatever, it's not. But look how cool, like Gunslinger's just the best, man. Plus his attitude is killer.
Yeah. Yeah, he came out as a breakout star. In all this. Like he's the more popular guy now, but it's funny. I go to a comic shop and I hear people talk about this. If they talk about any comic, they're talking about Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn and all that stuff. It's like, oh, I still follow this and blah 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 blah. Right? They'll pick up the other stuff, but you hear discussion and excitement about Spawn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like She Spawn. I like her design a lot.
Yeah, like I've grabbed a couple of I guess I could show you the I grabbed a couple of issues that have her on the cover for Scorched. Oh yeah, this I have this one, which is the fully with the full background. What's the other one I have? Is that Scorched #1? Scorched. But this is I've got this one.
Yeah.
And I've also got this one. Those are the two that I bought for Scorched. Those are both awesome covers. So Steve, I guess in Spawn, I don't know how many characters you've seen. So She Spawn's appeared.
Yeah.
Has Medieval Spawn appeared in what you've read?
He got decapitated.
Okay, so he's obviously not dead.
Obviously.
That would be a stupid waste. So you've seen Medieval Spawn, you've seen She Spawn, you've seen Spawn. What other? Have you seen Haunt? You've seen Redeemer. Have you seen Haunt?
No.
Okay. Have you seen who else is around? I guess Plague Spawn hasn't been. You haven't seen Plague Spawn, right? There's so many characters. I have to start writing them down.
Yeah.
We got Monolith.
Yeah, I saw Monolith. He just came in the last issue I read.
I mean, that guy's outrageous.
Yeah.
Cygor, Nightmare, Overkill.
Yeah. Cygor and Overkill, not the middle one.
You've seen Reaper? Have you seen Reaper?
Nope.
Curse? No, not yet.
Nope.
Soul Crusher? Probably not.
Nope.
Omega Spawn and Plague Spawn. So you haven't seen those guys yet, I don't think. No. I mean, there's so many. It's like if we went through, like, look at this bastard. Like, that's Omega Spawn. Like,
yeah.
And like, this is the figure. I mean, what the hell? Like,
I like how there's always variations of the design on the torso. Yeah.
And then who's the other one? Oh yeah, Plague Spawn is cool.
Yeah, Plague attaches to whoever.
Yeah. He's pretty awesome.
I mean, chopped off that one girl's head, but whatever.
Who else? Yeah. Well, you know what? Who I haven't seen yet is Ninja Spawn. Maybe he's coming up. I haven't seen, but the toy looks cool. You saw him at the very end of one of the issues of Spawn. But we haven't.
Oh wow! If they're doing a Ninja Spawn, J-Man, you're going to be all over that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. He looks awesome already. They got the figure. So this figure's at games. Yeah, it's like just like keep bringing them on, man. Keep bringing on Spawn. Oh yeah, there's the old Ninja Spawn.
Yeah,
I mean that was pretty awesome when it had come out.
Yeah,
like look at that. That's
oh god, man.
Yeah, what other good Spawn was? You know, there's a great page. Scorch. I can't remember what issue it was. It was like issue like 7 or something. But it may have been this issue. But the art here was awesome. Where is it? It's like all of them are standing together in this room, and it was like, oh yeah, check this guy out. He's cool. Damn. I don't know, but oh yeah, I got this cover. This is cool. Yeah, so Scorch, you'll like Scorch then, Steve, because She Spawn's the leader of the Scorch team. And like she's the damn best. So yeah, Curse is awesome too. So that was like old Curse, and then new Curse looks more like this.
Oh wow, he's like Dr. Doom Spawn.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's actually a guy. So he's not a Spawn. He's actually like a man. Oh, I used to have this figure. My God, I remember this. Yeah, this is the old. I remember this one. This was the figure. I had this figure.
Oh, cool. You have that?
I had it. I sold it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I had this one too. And I sold it as well. This is the figure. Look, this is where they start to get really good looking like that. That's awesome. Yeah, Curse of Spawn. Yeah, I had that comic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't get that one.
Yeah, Curse of the Spawn. I remember, and I think I had this too. Oh, that is what I said I had. Yeah, I had that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you seen Spawn when he lost the costume and then he was all burnt up and he literally painted?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That was awesome.
They made a figure of that.
So they call his costume a symbiote.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like because it's alive.
Yeah.
Did you okay, so we've all I mean, I saw the movie in the theater when
You showed it to me.
I showed it to you, Steve. Sean, you saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it there, yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got the original poster, still have it, and I still have the soundtrack. I've got the CD soundtrack to it. I did keep those things. And I've got the HBO. I don't even know if I have the complete HBO Spawn cartoon.
I think more people saw that than the movie.
I think so too.
A lot of people like talk about it. Used to be here on YTV, but because we didn't get Cartoon Network, right?
Yeah, so the only ones there were Spawn, Max, and Wildcats, right? Is that the only Image cartoons there were? And which played the TV show?
And Savage Dragon was a cartoon as well for like
Savage.
2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of that.
Spawn
Everyone was in that, man. Like Lady Savage Dragon and all that stuff. So yeah.
Spawn was in the last MK. I think it was the last MK.
Yeah, so the Spawn Mortal Kombat figures are amazing.
Yeah. And who voiced him? Keith David.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So where's the figure?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11. It's Spawn.
Yeah. That's the figure from it.
Yeah. It was awesome too. Like I watched all his intros. Like the great thing about Mortal Kombat now is they have all unique intros and extras, but more intros. So he'll interact with, Rambo or whatever, like RoboCop, like whatever.
Was he exclusive to something?
I don't remember.
I wonder if he was.
He was a DLC, but I don't recall if he was a DLC specifically to a system.
Oh, there's that Spawn out we were talking about where he just paints himself.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. So I'd actually ordered this. This here is 12 inches.
Oh wow.
I ordered it, and then they're like, "Yep, shipping soon." Then it said it's shipped, and then they're like, "Oh, we're not shipping it to you." I'm like, "What happened?" It's like, "Oh, yeah," and they refunded my money. I'm like, why are you not shipping it to me? And this is Amazon CA in stock.
Huh.
I'm like, well, in stock my ass.
Yeah, Dossier is pretty bad for that. They got really bad like around maybe 3 years ago for that.
Yeah, they're really bad now. Like if
they don't tell you why, they just like refund you, and it's like,
or they'll say, yeah, it's you pre-order it, and it's like, yep, it's coming day of. Yep, it's coming day of. Day of happened. Yeah, it's not coming.
I can't remember what it was. I pre-ordered, and I'm like, good, I'm locked in. And they told me, okay, well, we don't have it, and then I got refunded, and I'm like, it's good that I got refunded, but when I tried to order again, it was sold out everywhere, and I'm like, I thought I was that was the reason why I pre-ordered,
right?
And now I just go to .com.
Well, the Shaw Brothers thing better come because I ordered that from CA because .com didn't even have it up when it came up for pre-order. It's there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pre-ordered from CA as well.
I better get it. I'll friggin' lose my mind.
Yeah, I can't remember who I pre-ordered from. It must have been CA because J-Man, I remember you warning me about that.
Yeah, and I think you did order it from CA. But I mean, they had this figure at the last toy show I was at, but they wanted $50 for it. But it's one of those guys that literally goes in and buys like everything, and then they sell it for a lot. And I hate that. I hate supporting that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Spawn toys and the Spawn comics. Spawn comics are $2.99 American. That's the cheapest comic there is right now.
Right. Yeah.
And it's awesome. And Spawn toys are still whatever 30. Well, in Canada they're like $30 or $34.99 or something or whatever they are. And it's like Marvel Legends are up to $40. Like, what is happening is what I'm getting at. Like, this craziness needs to stop. Like, these comics are getting to $4.99 now.
Yeah.
American. So that's like what, $6 and something for us?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Where's my 5 times 1 point? Let's call it 35. $6.75. It's basically $7
Yeah.
in Canada. And then there's tax on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $7.50, let's call it. $7.50 for a comic. Are you guys out of your effing mind?
I know. And you breeze through it in like 10 minutes or less.
Right.
And
Well,
it's
you just have to pause to read all the talking. That's all you have to do.
So a Spawn comic comes out to $4.50 after tax. So $4.50 versus $7.50. You can almost buy 2 Spawn comics to 1.
DC or Marvel.
And Action is $4.99, I think, and Detective is $4.99. And a lot of the Marvel ones are like that too. Some of them are $3.99. But that's really crazy. Like, that's actually crazy. How can they justify asking you for $5 American for these comics, and they're pissed? It's literally people. I can't remember. I don't know. I'm not going to go find the issue now because I already packed away my X-Men comics, the modern ones at least. I was reading one, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. It was like $5, and it was them talking at the Quiet Council with Mr. Sinister and stuff. I'm like, I can't believe this. This is what is this? Mm-hmm. And then they have those pages where I used to show they're all white with actual text. It looks like a book. Like, it's literally like it's literally like this.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I'm like, are you effing kidding me? You don't even have art on this page. And people would be like, oh, I'm tired of these splash pages and all that. At least it's good art. So funny story. There's a guy at my work. He likes comic book movies and all that. He never read any comic in his life, right? He loves the MCU stuff, except none of the new stuff. It's weird. He's like a new fan of all of these things, but even he doesn't like any of the new MCU stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like it. And he likes it and he doesn't like it for very genuine reasons. Mm-hmm. He's Indian. He's got a heavy Indian accent, right? So, like not native Indian, like India.
No, Indian, yeah.
East Indian. And he's like, he goes, I don't know. He goes, Hulk doesn't do anything. I was like, right. Like, it's like he doesn't like, it's so funny because it's like the stuff that he's saying to me, like, we all are pissed off. Oh, this is trash and all that. And we know the deeper reasons why it's trash.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a regular guy, and he hated Thor: Love and Thunder. He was so angry. He's like, wow, that was so bad. And then this other Indian guy, there's a lot of Indian people at my work, and they all hated Thor. I don't know if they all got together and so let's all hate on Thor. Mm-hmm. But they all hated Thor: Love and Thunder, and they all watch like Bollywood movies and all that.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get me into KGF, which I haven't watched yet. They're on chapter 3. It's an Indian thing. It's a Hindi series. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. So, anyways, and they're all used to having big heroes, because all these Bollywood movies actually have heroes, not in what we think is a superhero, but like more like a Schwarzenegger style for the people who don't know. They're like these big, larger than life characters. There's action poses. There's always an entrance. Every movie, they have them enter the movie in a cool way or something, right?
Yeah.
So they're used to that. So he's watching Thor: Love and Thunder. He's like, well, this was garbage. He's like, I used to love Thor. I thought he was so strong. He could fight anybody. I'm like, now he's just making jokes the whole time. I was like, right. Yeah. And this isn't a guy with any agenda. He doesn't know if Jane Foster should have had the powers or should not have had the power. He doesn't know comics. He doesn't know the history of any of this stuff. Doesn't know any of it. He's literally just like, well, I thought this was boring. Or why didn't nothing good happen? It wasn't funny, So I bought him. They re-released Spawn #1 for $1. It was one of those,
facsimile edition,
facsimile or something. But it wasn't that though. It was like Image has their own version of that. It's called something else, right? Like, Anyway, so it's $1. So I'm gonna buy him Spawn #1. You know, so I came the next day. I was like, "Oh, I got you something." He's like, "Oh wow." He went home and he went to first. It was like second or third page of that first big double splash page where you got to hold it like freaking portrait style.
Yeah.
Well, landscape, but then it becomes portrait.
Yeah.
He's like, "Wow!" And he's like so excited about it. And he read it. He's like, "That was awesome." He's like, I don't even know what Spawn is." I was like, "Okay, let me tell you about Spawn." So I was telling him about him. He's like, "This is so awesome." And he was so excited. I was like, "Right.
Well,
remember that?"
the thing is that the MCU movies have been what I would call normie washed.
Yeah.
Right. And they've been normie washed since the beginning.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, let's not pretend that this is your mom's, Iron Man or Thor or anything. But it was still fundamentally good for X reasons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's just fundamentally not good. And it's not just the movies, it's the comics now. It's just like and I thought this, when this stuff becomes mainstream, we're all like, yeah, they're doing She-Hulk and all that. But the mainstream is not good. It's not where these things belong. It isn't. Sorry. They shouldn't have $200 million budgets because look what they do with them. They make it become crap.
Yeah.
So,
and they're spending all this money to tell these big stories, but comics, like comic book movies, could just very well. You just need to do a couple of cool scenes. So, Steve, I was at Steve's last night. We watched V, which is that Russian movie. I guess.
Oh, Sean, that one, yeah.
Sean, I think you got that for him, right?
Yeah, I've got a review coming soon, so yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I'd never seen that movie at all. And then I came to find out that there's 3 new movies of it. The second one's got Jackie Chan, Schwarzenegger,
yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Joe. Well, we're not talking about wrestling, so that's cool. Spawn I said was very uneven, a good cast. Charlie White, yeah, I agree. Some decent action. Yeah. We were supposed to talk about the movie, and then we kind of forgot. But we will talk about it in a second. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so
yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, V, yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah. So okay, so we watch that, but then I don't want to talk about it, but then usually Steve takes a movie and I take a movie that's
Yeah.
So I brought Yor because Steve hadn't seen Yor and he's got to see it because it's moved on into the space race. It's in the space opera qualifying tournament, so he has to watch it. So I was like, well, yeah, now's a good time to watch it because it was 2 short movies. Basically, each one's like 85 minutes or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching Yor and I'm thinking like, this gets so if like you can make 90-minute movies out of these superhero things. You just need to have one villain. He's got an evil scheme. You have the hero do a James Bond style. Maybe but maybe make it longer. Maybe the first 15 minutes is he stops a low, like a C-level villain of his, right?
Yeah.
Like just pick a random Marvel villain that's not the greatest, and he defeats them, and just have it, and maybe even do it like cameo style.
Mm-hmm.
Like have like a big name actor be in the movie for 10 minutes. It's like Tom Cruise is playing, I don't know, like the Swordsman or something. You're like, what the hell? Or something like that, right? Like I don't know, I just can't. So he's playing some character, and then the guy gets defeated, and then the movie starts. He's in his regular thing, and then halfway through the movie, there's like some problem, some big catastrophic thing or whatever. The hero stops that, and then that all leads to the final showdown with the villain at the end. That's it. Make it 90 minutes. Don't spend 200 whatever million on it, right? Yeah. You don't need to. You only need 3 big things. In a 90-minute movie, you only need 3 big action pieces, right?
Yeah.
So do that. Spend your money on that, and then that's what you've got. And now you can make money off that movie, and the nerds will like it. And then it's got a lot of rewatchability. I cannot rewatch any of even the ones I really like. I really like Doctor Strange Part 1 and 2. I really like Part 2. Even that's difficult to rewatch because it's a little bit over 2 hours, so it's not too bad. I can rewatch that one, but what the hell happened to 100 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes?
Yeah. No, I love the Avengers movies, but as you say, they're overly long. It's like I'll probably just watch bits of them.
Yeah. You fast forward to your favorite parts and that's it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that before.
Yeah.
No, you watch the whole thing because it's 90 minutes was the average running time for a feature. Before that, it was an hour and 10 minutes or about an hour was a feature. You know.
Well, V is 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Including everything, credits and all of it. And
I don't know what
there's like
there's
4 minutes of credits in the beginning because that V is from the 60s, so they put all the credits in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like 4 minutes of credits in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so this movie is 1 hour and 10 minutes. I mean, like,
the story just zips along, man. It's like there's the opening incident. He has to go back. He's like, oh shit, and then he has to. Then the stuff happens, man.
Like the crazy thing is, he goes back. Like that's the crazy thing. Like he spends the first night. You're right. He's not going back.
Yeah.
At least the guy offers the money or whatever, right?
Yeah, he offers. But I'm like, you're crazy to go back.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. Well, it's 1,000 gold coins, man. That buys a lot of D&D equipment.
That is true.
You gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so the movie. Let's talk about Spawn the movie real quick. So I mean, when I was walking into that, because Spawn was my favorite comic at the time. Melinda Clark is in it, who was my favorite actress at the time. She probably pretty much still is, and at least out of the people who are alive. And so I was a big fan of Melinda Clark, big fan of Spawn, and I'm like, and he looked cool, like it looked like Spawn. It wasn't movie edition Spawn; it was the real Spawn. It was Spawn. They didn't have Chapel, so they substituted with Jessica Priest.
Yep.
So I understood, and it came out in a time where I understood how movies were made. So I was like, okay, I understand. You can't.
Well, they changed it in the comics too.
They did change the comics
because they broke up the Tom McFarlane and Rob Liefeld.
Robbie. So anyway, so that happened. That's fine. And they had Angela for 2 seconds, but now they can't use Angela anymore because Angela's gone too. But anyways, I was like, okay. So I was thinking this is going to be better than Conan. And like my other friend Sean was like, he's like, oh my god, like what's this is going to be your favorite movie of all time. And then I was like, okay. And then literally, this is the friends that I have. We're walking out of the theater, and they're like saying, oh, Melinda Clark was hardly in that movie. Ha, she sucked. And it's like she just got killed. It's like, ha. And I'm like, I'm not like dating this woman. Like, what are you? Okay, so she wasn't in it that much. Like, what do you? It was supposed to be like ha 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 on J-Man, like he didn't get what he wanted or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm like, I liked the movie. I got the soundtrack, got the poster, but it certainly didn't beat Conan, and it certainly really didn't. It's not in my top 10 or 20 or top 100, or probably top 200 or 300. But you know what? I like that movie, but I do have a lot of movies. If I try to do a top 300, it'd be very difficult because I own 3,000 movies. So it'd be very difficult to take, just a little bit, like what, 10% of those or whatever, and try to be like, what's the 10% that I like?
And what's the order? My God.
What's the order, right? So anyways,
you have to do in no particular order. You'd have to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even that would be impossible. Like, because I'll watch something. I'm like, man, this movie's so awesome. There's a lot of good movies out there. There's just not too many.
There are.
Right now.
Yeah. Like we bag on movies a lot, but if you go back over to history of movies, I could find my top 100. I could find my top 100.
Well, we all own like over 1,000. I
own 3,000 movies, so I'm sure there's 100 in there.
I don't know if it's 3,000 now. I have to do it. Was closing in, but yeah, no, so we own more than 300 movies. So yeah.
Well, no, it'd be, but if we during our top 100, but like, could you rank your top 100? That would be crazy.
Yeah, but in terms of there being good things to watch, there's lots.
Yeah.
But according to your taste, like a lot of the stuff I own, probably some people wouldn't like it.
But I was saying to J-Man yesterday, like, here's the problem now. I own this many movies. I don't need you.
I don't need you.
I don't need you.
It's like right now, if I just, you know what, Sean, you're set for the rest of your life. You got all your money and everything. You can just sit back and watch everything you own. I probably won't be able to finish it all before I die. It's like if you add up all the minutes, Yeah.
If I started right now, I would not be able to finish everything I own.
So my dad has well over 1,000, like 1,500. He's done it all. He's done them all.
Wow.
Yeah. Every single one. Twice. over.
Wow. Yeah, really, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the 2000. Okay, so 2000. I can. There's a guy at my work in 2004 when that Punisher movie came out, and here's his review. They need to change the title to The Punished, and that was the audience.
Yeah.
The Punisher should be high octane action. The Dolph Lundgren movie is clearly the best one.
Oh yeah.
Clearly the
It's
best.
got the tone of mood that they were going for in the comics back then.
Right.
Yeah.
He kicks the shit out of everybody. He fights the mafia. He fights the friggin' Yakuza. He fights that guy at the end.
He just beats the skull. That's it.
If he had the skull shirt, that would have been it. Now, Warzone is obviously better than the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Punisher movie, I did feel punished watching it. I was like, I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care if he gets revenge. This is defeating the entire purpose of the exercise. I don't care if Frank Castle gets revenge.
Right.
This is not good, guys. This is not what you should want.
I'm surprised. Was it Warzone? Is that what that one was called?
Warzone is the second one.
The third one or whatever. But I'm surprised it came out only 4 years after that other crappy one. It's like it's a reboot basically because it has nothing to do with that film.
Yeah.
But it's just I have to watch it again. I'm pretty sure it's awesome, but it's sometimes it gets campy, but
it's a little too campy for like. The Punisher should be like a hardcore urban Death Wish-esque.
It should be Death Wish
movie.
Yeah.
And it was going that way, like the main character Stevenson, Frank Castle was killing everyone, and he would just kill indiscriminately. I'm like, sure, but then like Jigsaw was just like marching and doing this big speech and the American flag. I'm like, what is this?
What's happening? Yeah,
totally wrong. So
that was weird.
That and the Ghost Rider movies, I don't know what the hell they were doing with those.
Well, yeah, but like with Spawn, that was sort of my read on that too. So like when Spawn was coming out, everyone was mega hyped, and I remember back then in the early days of the internet, I was trying to download the QuickTime trailer for it, and back then you download just a bit of it, so you could play like the first
yes.
And then it stops like, oh, like and then you're waiting for like an hour, I swear. And this is the way things were back then. And so I play it that and Batman and Robin. I was like excited to see what they're gonna do.
Oh, Batman and Robin, yeah.
I'd seen images, but I hadn't seen anything in action, right? And they barely showed anything in that trailer. And then at the end, it's like each letter like is flame and it forms and stuff. I'm like, I want to see more. So I saw the movie in a theater. I chose it over was Air Force One, which won the weekend, famously over Spawn. And the thing is, I think that movie isn't what people thought in their mind's eye. If you read the comics, it's a lot grittier than that. And it doesn't have to be like joyless, but I was looking for it to be a bit more serious than that film was. And maybe have a bit more Sam and Twitch in there trying to figure out what's going on. And like, I think everyone had their own interpretation of what the movie was. And I think everyone's interpretation took the film more seriously than this movie did.
Right.
With dumb wipes and like, I don't know. It just seemed like it was going for a lighter tone, and I don't even understand why. And I think it lost the audience that way. It's funny because I said earlier, more people I think I've seen the HBO show than the movie, and I hear nothing but praise for that show, and that was gritty and dark. So I don't know. I think they really misjudged the audience with that film.
Probably came from the famous Joel Schumacher. It's a comic book.
And that's the way people thought of comic books back then and making them into movies, right?
Right.
Oh, it's got to be stupid because comic books are stupid, right? It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I remember when J-Man showed me Spawn, I enjoyed the movie, but I didn't love the movie. It had its problems for sure. I thought like they did a decent. Back then, I was like, the visual effects are okay, blah blah blah. But yeah, it was handicapped by a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
You could tell watching it that this is literally supposed to be darker than they're showing it because the subject matter is so dark.
Yeah.
Like, and John Leguizamo is just like chewing the frigging scenery.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think this is how this should be.
Yeah, it's like Green Lantern in that
Yeah.
like I like Green Lantern enough in that it is the comics
Yeah.
come to life, but the problem is they're not really telling a story. It's like if you want to see Oa and Kilowog and the Guardians and the rest of the Corps, if you want to see all this stuff and like Abin Sur and Parallax and all that stuff, it's all there. It's all in order. Like there it is. That's the way the comics were, but it's not really doing anything with it. And Spawn is kind of like that. You know, like it's like there's Spawn. I think Malbolgia is in this movie. It's like Annihilator's in it. It looks awesome, but
like, look, this looks wicked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's pretty damn awesome. The only thing is they couldn't do the cape, so
yeah.
I mean, like, you know, there's with him wearing a cape.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll never look like that on screen again. That's just never gonna happen.
Nope.
Yeah, what'll the new one be? It'll just be like.
And I love how they did it like the comic book and that the muscles. This is what Alex Ross always says that like he would prefer the comic book characters to look like the muscles are the costume, you know, kind of thing, rather than everything's matted. Which is the way cloth works. That it sort of like smooths over those the musculature and stuff. But that is like the comics come to life, like just the drawing of the ribs and everything, and it's all there, you know.
I've seen that with some pretty good like cosplay and stuff like.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right, like.
You gotta admire the cosplayers, man.
Jesus Christ, that's awesome.
Like the creativity they throw into it, some of them is incredible.
I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, you know, try.
What the heck? He's got socks on.
You ever want to see Spawn in his socks and
Lego Spawn?
Cool.
Lego Spawn, yeah.
Lego Spawn. Oh
yeah, kick his ass, Spawn. Go get him.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
That's cool.
This isn't. That's a drawing.
Yeah, it's a drawing.
More simplified version. It's got like the fake ribs there.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite out of the comics, Sean? Do you like Scorch the best or Spawn or
Gunslinger?
Yeah, I like
because I think it's more simplified than the others.
Right.
And I like Gunslinger as a character, and it feels more like the comics I'm familiar with. Like there's a dude out to get him, he fights him. You know, it's like I'm not gonna say it's dumbed down. It's good storytelling. But I feel it zips along. All the comics are awesome, but I feel it zips along faster than the other comics. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're all awesome, but like Gunslinger is like effing crazy.
Yeah,
like these pages are like the best, and like I mean, it gets like even just when they're talking and stuff is cool.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of talking. That's for damn sure. It's a lot of fighting.
Well,
it's fighting while talking.
Yeah,
which is like. This is what I wanted. That's the old. I keep thinking X-Force and X-Men, and that to me is the '90s kind of style where it's like you're learning about the characters while they're kicking the crap out of each other, so it doesn't seem as like boring.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. It's either 332 or 333 or something where Spawn is talking to Cagliostro and he turns into I can't remember the guy's name.
Sin Eater.
Is that his name?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
With the big armor, this guy.
Oh, let me see.
But the thing is, they do talk, and they talk for a good four pages, but there's stuff going on in it, and there's tension.
Show me again who you're talking about.
This guy.
Yeah. I thought that was I thought that was Sin Eater, but I could be wrong.
I think his name is Sin. I think that's
Sin. Yeah, it's just Sin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Sin. That's right.
Yeah, but like, and then he turns into Sin, and then they fight. But there is tension there. Like, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with characters talking. You can still write tension in that talking. I don't get that from DC and Marvel. I don't even know what the hell's happening when they talk.
Right.
It's just a lot of virtue signaling from the characters themselves, and it's like you're not making a point. Whereas here is like, like you're hiding something and all that stuff, and it's like, fine, if you won't cooperate, and then he turns into Sin, and then they fight. Then they punch each other for like 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, like, there was the retro cover.
Yeah.
For that issue, but I'm trying to find like a better picture of them.
Whew, sorry.
Yeah, what the hell? It's like, that's like.
I threw my comics down and woke the dog up. So.
Oh, who woke the dog up?
Who?
But yeah, Gunslinger Spawn is just like the damn best. I mean, he just looks awesome, and the comic is wicked, and like even like issue 1, it's like it's like first few pages, like, oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. Like he gets this big bike.
Yeah.
This may have been Spawn's universe though. Oh no, maybe it was Gunslinger one. And then he meets up with that Taylor guy who's pretty fun. And he's like, well, don't you know? And he doesn't know anything. He's like, you don't. And Gunslinger doesn't know anything. He's like, well, I can destroy people, so I know how to do that. It's like, oh, okay. I love that he doesn't care about anything or know anything. He's driving around. He's out of gas, and they're like, did you put gas in it? He's like, what is gas?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know. It's like he doesn't even know what like it's not just like, oh, I didn't know you had to put gas in. He's like, well, what are you talking about? Like, what does gas have to do?
Yeah,
with
what
this?
is that? Yeah.
Like, why would gas be in this thing? Right? Like, it is awesome.
Yeah.
So I love the fish out of water. I love the revenge. I love that he wants to get back to get revenge on everybody.
Yeah.
His name is Javier. So, oh no.
I know. I was trying to look up his ethnicity, but I'm pretty sure he's Latin of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
Spawn is black.
Everyone
keeps forgetting that.
That is the most forgotten thing of all time. There's never any new original black characters except for the one that has the longest running independent comic of all time.
And the supporting characters are black as well. They're his friends and stuff.
They're his friends, and they're all black.
Yeah.
And she spawns a woman, the dreaded woman, and Javier is Mexican or whatever he is. It's like, okay, so there you go. I don't know what you want. Like they've given it to you. They already gave you everything you wanted. You just don't know about it.
You want to scream about it. Yeah, and you don't know enough about the subject matter to but even if you knew that, then you'd still scream.
Right. I don't know what you want. It's like, we want
Image Comics by today's standard would be woke, but the thing was they weren't. Because they would go out their way to put characters that weren't. I mean, we talk about Team Youngblood, and that was led by Sentinel, and it's like Rob Liefeld and all his white friends there created that character and put him front and center. It's like. They did this all the time back then. Like Ripclaw, we talk about Ripclaw, Native American character, and he was awesome. And he was like the main guy in that thing. And it's like they would do this, and everyone's completely forgot about it. And people who are in the comic industry today know enough about Image to know they hate Image, right? And they hate those people, and they were poisonous and everything. But they did exactly what you proposed to do, and you simply can't. And these characters, like Spawn, has lasted. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and look, like friggin', I thought Sentinel was the greatest thing ever.
He was awesome, yeah.
I'm like, this guy.
He had all the answers. I liked him,
Yeah, he's ridiculous, right? Yeah. So, like, what are you talking about? And he's the leader, and he's not the leader to be a leader and be a loser. He literally destroys people, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, even Chapel was pretty cool.
Yeah, Chapel was cool. He's like the Wolverine of the Youngblood.
Anyhow, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm pretty tired.
Okay. Yeah, no worries, Steve. All right, well, thanks for coming on, man. I'll see you on Wednesday. Tomorrow's stream. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. All
Have a
right,
good one,
cool,
guys.
man. See ya.
All right, see you.
Yeah. So I mean, like, look at Chapel, man. Like, this guy's like pretty epic.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap! And every single one of these guys is pumped up. Like, they're all like big, heavy duty, heavy.
Right. Is Rob Liefeld black? No, but like he wanted this to happen, and he made this, and it's cool. It was effortless back then, and I don't know if anyone really screamed and yelled about that kind of thing. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't remember anyone. I remember Shadowhawk was a black guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember anyone getting mad or upset over any of this stuff. They're just like, oh, that's cool. And like nobody, and also I didn't see anyone patting themselves on the back either. That's the other thing.
Right.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I made a black superhero. Oh, I'm the best. Where's my, give me a thumbs up. It's like,
Yeah. Like Exo Man of War's big sidekick was a gay man, and they didn't make any bones about that, but it wasn't a remarkability. It was like, and he was resourceful, and they try to get information out of him. He won't give it up, and say it's cool, Yeah, and they weren't paying themselves. They weren't insufferable about it, and the characters were characters, And it's like you see Spawn first, right? And that's how it should be, It's like, listen, Martin Luther King said the content of the character, not the not their skin color, right? So that's a super paraphrase, but yeah.
Spawn Allison. So who would play Spawn today? You think? I mean, I liked Michael Jai White. Back, I thought he was a good choice for back then, actually.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know who would. Oh yeah, this guy's awesome too. I don't know who would play him now.
No one would agree to it now. So, because Michael Jai White was fine with being in makeup for most of the film,
right?
And under that mask and everything. Nowadays, I don't know. You could spin the wheel of like upcoming actors that can play him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Michael B. Jordan would never do this,
No, because his face would be covered.
Yeah, a big star and all.
And he'd be burnt. It's like Ryan Reynolds. It's like he'd be burnt the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even know. They'd have to get an unknown.
That Daniel Kaluuya guy is too short, in my opinion. Like from freaking Nope and all that.
Oh yes. Yeah, I don't think he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's like. Is he?
He's too stocky.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is an awesome picture.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, they got to. I don't know. They keep saying, "Oh, there's going to be a movie." Todd McFarlane's like, "There's going to be one." Well, I don't know. Like,
well, he was supposed to direct one. And I was like, "That's never going to happen. That guy's difficult to work with, man." It's like, listen, I love Todd McFarlane, but come on, right? It's a Blumhouse thing, so it's going to be like low budget.
Oh dear.
But yeah, no, I you read the comics now, it's like there's a million guys. Just like, do the old school, like he fights a guy a movie. And just like make a great story for each thing. And there you got your franchise, man. It's like, go back to the old school Batman way, but do it good, do it right,
That's what I was saying. You don't need $200 million. Make a 90-minute movie. I'm telling you, if they would allow me to make your movie, my your 100th future, it would be the best movie ever. Everybody would be like, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen. And I'm like, of course it is, because I know exactly what you want. I'm going to give it to you. Let's see what Joe says. Michael J. was. Yeah, I agree. He was perfect at that time.
Yeah. Right. The letters pages for after that movie was hilarious. I he's always like, oh, I had dinner with Bob Shea, we're talking Spawn 2. And it's like, this is never happening, man.
Michael J. White. Let's see what it looks like now. What's the last thing I saw him in? I just saw him. Well, he was in Arrow as Bronze Tiger, I believe.
Right.
He still looked pretty good. How old is he right now? Yeah, Black Dynamite. I own that one. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
How old is Michael Jai White? Oh, he's 54, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
You gotta get someone on a come up, right? Like in like late 20s, early 30s. So you could like spin out more Spawn stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it has to be somebody younger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can do it. I think they need to go. I think Marvel's whole entire thing is just flawed. All superhero movies, they need to go back. Everybody, DC, Marvel, all of them. They need to stop these 2-3 hour plus disaster fests. They need to go back. They need to pick one villain, have a simple story. If you're going to do Spider-Man again, the next Spider-Man movie should just have one, just do Scorpion. And you could just be like, Jameson hires Mac, Gargan or whatever. Or like Matt Gargan is like, yeah, I want to take out Spider-Man, whatever. Yep, do that. He gets himself the suit. He gets locked in it. It maybe it draws on his DNA, or it like it's like somehow gives him like he's bonded to it, and then he blames Jameson. So first thing is Spider-Man. Maybe we can have, I don't know, pick somebody weird like Puma, or is there anybody like who's like a lower guy?
Well, Puma's good, or Molten Man, or
Molten Man's perfect.
Yeah.
So first 15 minutes of the new Spider movie, Molten Man's causing a ruckus. Spider-Man stops Molten Man. Then Jameson's like, oh, you see, Spider-Man caused all this damage, and Molten Man's, and it's like, and he's like, I didn't do that. It was Molten Man. It's like, oh, Spider-Man's terrible. He's like, we need to stop this guy. And then Matt Gargan, you have something with him. He goes to jail for some kind of crimes. And there's like a scientist who's like, yeah, I can make this guy a suit or whatever. He comes out, he has a scorpion tattoo like he did in the movie. He has like, and then it's like he likes scorpions. The scorpions eat spiders, so that's a good match.
Yeah.
He's green, Spider-Man's red and blue, so different colors. They make the suit. Jameson's and he's like, oh, I'm endorsing Scorpion to go get this guy. He's a man of, whatever. He's an ex-military or some shit. I don't know, make up something. They fight. Scorpion beats him, right? Beats Spider-Man, gets the upper hand. Spider-Man's hurt. And it's like, yes, Scorpion's ridding the city of bad guys and, whatever. And he's a great guy. And then he finds out that he's stuck in the suit. And he's like, what the shit? I can't be normal and all that. And he goes crazy. He tries to attack Jameson. Spider-Man saves, and they have a big fight. The end. It's over. The movie's 90 minutes. Everyone walks away saying that was cool. They buy Scorpion toys. They buy Spider-Man toys. Little kids reenact the fights.
Yeah. It will be substantive in people's minds, and it'll be lambasted by critics.
Right.
Yeah, I feel there's always a need to make things like way overly complex, and you kind of don't need to. The other thing too is like I remember watching Batman Forever over and over, and that movie is 2 hours.
Yep, that's true.
And it's like, and you're saying, well, make it 90 minutes. You can make it 2 hours and fun, but But what's the problem with Batman Forever? It's kind of dumb, Right. You could probably mix and match and make things like smooth things out a bit there, but filmmakers don't make movies to be fun or entertaining anymore. They're trying to prove some sort of point. It's not even virtue signaling. They're trying to be like more profound than the material really is, and it doesn't have to be. Like, listen, Empire Strikes Back is probably the best example of anything for this, where it's a perfect melding of like fantasy, like super awesome, cool stuff, and a great story that has a point, right? Like the hero doesn't win, right?
Right.
But it's still great to watch. And no one really has that sort of mindset to make something that's entertaining for everybody anymore. And so you get these like long, ponderous, overly trying movies, like that whole Mysterio movie. The Mysterio parts are great. The rest of it I could do without. I don't know why like the kids are behaving so stupidly.
Right.
And why Spider-Man's launching a missile strike on a school bus. It's like, was this supposed to be funny? There's zero suspense because it's not going to happen. So what's happening? What am I watching?
Cut that entire
face.
Yeah,
because he's going to thwart it. Yeah.
Yeah, that entire thing could be cut out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. 2 hours can be fun. I watch Batman is 2 hours. Batman Returns is 2 hours. Batman Forever is a little over 2 hours. Batman and Robin is a bit over. And I've watched all 4 of those movies multiple times.
Yeah.
I've watched Batman Forever and Batman and Robin more times than anyone should ever really watch those movies. right? So, yeah, I could do 2 hours. Yeah, but they're all cool. Like Batman Returns is all awesome. That entire movie's awesome. But they can't do that now. So you better make it shorter. They can't even do a 30-minute She-Hulk episode. Did you? Well, we're going to talk about it.
I'm not watching freaking She-Hulk, man.
Dude,
I will turn into the Hulk.
It has reached new lows. It's not even funny anymore.
From last week, really? There's a new one this week, right?
Yeah, so I watched the new one.
6,
I watched episode 6. There's still no Daredevil, for Christ's sakes.
No, I knew it was going to be like episode 8 or something. He comes in.
Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter when he comes in. But oh my god, no, episode 5 was the worst episode of any television show in the history of television. Episode 6 was like top 10 worst television episodes.
Oh wow, yeah,
it's pretty bad. Look at the Batman with Twilight Boy. Yeah, if you get rid of the Falcone Catwoman subplot, focus on the real, you could right. Exactly. Well, I know that, and that entire movie was so long, and you're in the theater. It's like you're losing me. You're losing me. I'm gone. It's like I don't care because it's not the Riddler anyways.
When they're in the parking lot of that club and the one guy dies, that's an hour in, and at that point I'm like, I don't understand. You had a murder. You barely investigated it. You're concentrating so much on the Riddler's riddle because script, and it's like I don't understand anyone's motivation anymore. I don't know what anyone is trying to do here. So I'm done. And there's like another 2 hours. So I don't. There's no reason for the Batman to be 3 hours. Look, everyone loves this movie. I feel like I saw a different movie.
I did see a different one.
And now people are talking like, it's gonna get like the a Best Picture nomination and all that. And it's like, oh, it better. It's like, guys, The Dark Knight, I would say, is a better movie than this, and that got snubbed. And it's like, and honestly, like, you guys think this is a good movie? It's not. You will embarrass all comic book movies if this thing becomes a Best Picture at least nomination. It shouldn't. It's about nothing. It's like, and Riddler wins, and they show him win, and then but they show Riddler going, oh no, and so I guess he lost. What the hell's happening? It's so
it's like Riddler, you won.
Like, what's a flying bird or bat or whatever the hell that thing was? Like, who gives a shit? A man died. Investigate like the area. Did someone forcibly enter? Investigation. It's like, god damn, the murderer is literally sending out like videos to the press. Would you not like watch them and say, oh look, what's the surroundings? Where is this guy? It's like, god damn. It's written by morons. Like the freaking officer at the end has to tell Batman what that thing is that he has. He just never looked at, I guess. It's like, oh, it uproots the carpet. It's like, oh my god, who wrote this? And having written it and shot it, who watched that and thought it was great? It's awful. Just objectively, it's awful. Like, I'm not pointing anything. I'm not interpreting the movie. That is the movie. That is what happens. It's bad.
Yeah, and people usually say, "Oh, well, let me."
Can't argue with a confident man.
But a lot of people point out, "Oh, you're always like nitpicking everything. You got to." There's nothing to nitpick. It's like Batman lost. That's not nitpicking. It's like he didn't win. It's like I watched Confess Fletch. I didn't do a review on it because it sucks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we could talk about it privately after, but like none of the Fletch stuff is in it. It's like there's no disguises, and he doesn't narrate it, and he doesn't solve the case. I'm like, this is not a Fletch movie. Like, there's no disguises.
Yeah.
Fletch is about him being in a disguise, talking to a normal person, and the normal person's like, this guy's some weirdo. Or sometimes there's scenes where Fletch is normal, and he's talking to an eccentric character who's very weird and quirky, and there's comedy in there.
Yeah.
And then he always solves the case at the end, and then whatever. He doesn't solve the case. There's no dressing up, and there's nothing. I'm like, this is not a Fletch movie. The music's not there. I'm like, so this isn't a Fletch movie. It's like John Hamm. It's like, it's just John Hamm walking around, attempting to be funny, but it's just not happening. And you're like, this is not a Fletch movie. Same with Batman. It's like, Are you okay? Well, this is an investigative movie. Then investigate something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is my exact problem. So I actually get ready for this one. I prefer Batman and Robin to Batman Forever because in that movie, everyone's making the same movie. They're all like, "Hey guys, comic books are shit. We don't care. This movie's to sell toys. You see this effing toy right here? Wherever you see this effing face, you see this toy. It's like, like, we need to sell this toy. I don't care. It's like, okay, we're selling toys. Just make it stupid. It's like, just go crazy. Schwarzenegger, it's like so Schwarzenegger says his, you're not sending me to the cooler. And on set, Schwarzenegger thinks of 15 more jokes that have to do with ice. And they're like, you know what? Say all of them. I know these aren't in the script, but just say every ice joke that you can.
I love at the end. There's like a moment of
1 second,
clarity
1 second of yeah.
When Batman's like my butler is dying or whatever he says, right? And he goes do you have the cure for blah blah syndrome? And then Mr. Freeze can't be serious for 1 second. He's like, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. He's like, it's like right to the last fucking scene. He's got to do some sort of stupid one-liner.
Yeah. And then it's like, it's the chilling sound of your doom. It's like, well, is it though? You're kind of in prison and you can't go anywhere. So like, I don't. Anyways, so that movie is like a shit box, but it's awesome. But Batman Forever had good stuff going on in it. That's the problem with it. Batman Forever had a lot of good parts.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is pretty serious. Robin's parents dying, that was pretty crazy. And he's like, no. And you're like, oh shit, they got nailed. Like they just got. It wasn't just like there was an accident and they fell. It's like they're literally murdered or whatever, right? It's like you're like,
yeah. But what draws me to that movie is the spectacle of it. It's like cool. There's some cool stuff in it. I love when Batman is falling. And then they do a sort of shot where they show that, and then they show him from above, like he's like jumping down.
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're saying.
That was awesome. The whole Batmobile, like driving up that building, was cool.
Yeah, it shoots like a cable and goes.
There's a lot of cool stuff, and that big island at the end that's hydraulic and it lifts up and everything. That's neat. I do like the ending where he's like, you have to choose between the two, but for some reason it's like it's open. Like there's 2 holes. But everything else is open, so you can easily, and they show that. I like the music in that movie. It's great. They tried to do something different than the Danny Elfman, and I thought it was cool. There's some good, there's good entertainment value in that film. It's kind of dumb. But I used to be offended by those films. You know how time goes on and a new Batman comes out and supplants the old ones, and you're like, because the thing is, those movies were the gold standard of what Batman was in the general public's eye. Right. It's stupid. It's shit. It's like the Transformers movies did that, right?
Right.
And but the thing about Transformers movies, there's nothing that's really supplanted that since. And like as much as the Nolan movies have problems, they at least like sort of course corrected to Batman should be a bit more elevated than that. The problem is, then they elevated it too much and made this crappy 3-hour thing that was that purports to be profound and smart, and it's not, right? So,
yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was the killer for me because I love
Two-Face, and they really murdered Two-Face.
They really murdered that. Two-Face has not had any good because Aaron Eckhart is good,
and he dies.
And he dies.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't even know. I don't know what happened there. I didn't read anything about that movie going in, so I didn't know that Two-Face was in that movie. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then he dies, and I'm like, "Well, you can't. What? Why?"
I don't know. And everyone, and I remember when Joker even fell off the roof in '89. I was like, "Oh man, what the heck? That sucks."
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then Penguin got killed. I'm like, Penguin's my favorite. He's dead. This sucks.
Yeah.
And like, I guess that's what's going to happen. They're just going to all die. Tommy Lee Jones dies.
And
and then everyone's like, well, finally, we're not going to kill any of these heroes. It's like, but you did. Ra's al Ghul is dead. Friggin' Two-Face is dead. You are killing the villains. It's like, Did Bane die in Rise of the?
He got run over by Catwoman's bike or whatever.
And she missiled him. I thought she missile fired him. Or
something happens to him. I
don't remember that movie at all.
Yeah, I remember she dies in the worst acting way. Like she just goes like that. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Talia. Yeah.
She's in the truck or something, and then I don't know.
I don't remember. And they killed Talia. So they killed Talia. It's like that's Damien's mom. So there's no Damian Wayne.
Well, they nuked Gotham City, so I don't.
And then like, why was Scarecrow like that weird mayor, and like passing?
Yeah, he's like putting people on trial, or I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see Billy D make something out of that. Like, I think I wonder what it would have been like.
Well, he said that the goal was to make him Two-Face in future movies. Tim Burton wanted that, and he was all on board for that. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man."
I don't remember anyone. Was there anyone getting up? I was a little kid, so I wouldn't have known. I don't remember anyone getting too upset that it was a black guy.
No,
I just remember thinking
like
it was really cool.
Billy D was Harvey Dent, right? It's just cool. Everyone knew who he was.
So, yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, I thought, oh, this is really cool. It's like he'll be Two-Face or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really think too much about it. I didn't think, oh, this is not the Two-Face or whatever. And I know. So she kills him. Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video where this guy interviews Ray Parker Jr. and Bobby Brown for their Ghostbusters songs and stuff. But Ray Parker Jr. he was saying that the guy who interviewed him, it's Professor of Rock, or I don't know if you subscribe to that channel, but
no.
he was like when I was a kid, I thought you were Billy D. Williams, and I thought, wow, Billy D. Williams is singing the Ghostbusters song, and he laughed. Ray Parker Jr. laughed, and he said, people kept saying that, and one day I looked back, and I'm like, oh my god, I look exactly like Billy D. Williams, and then they put them together, like they put Lando and they put him in the music video together, and they look exactly the same. Because you can't tell us apart, man. It's like it's the same facial structure and the hair and the mustache.
Oh my
it's
god,
crazy, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like so random.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I mean, I think it was fine. I don't think anyone got pissed. Maybe they did. I don't know. There was no internet.
There's no internet for people to get angry. People were just mad. I think what really supplanted everything, people were just mad that Mr. Mom was going to play Batman.
I remember.
And that was a big deal. And people forget. People still poo-poo this show, but like Adam West still defined Batman up to that point, in the public eye, and it was like, how can you this was a real thought. How can you possibly make something better than that show? I think it's like, how can you make something that's credible to most people, that they accepted as Batman? How is that even possible? How are you going to do that? And if you watch Batman, that costume isn't even the Batman costume people are familiar with. Now people know Batman in that black costume.
Right.
But that was way upending things for people. And the whole serious tone of it too. But it looked like the state of the art. Like it looked really, really like forward thinking and ahead of its time. It looked exciting when we watched it, and that Batmobile really sold things too.
Oh, that Batmobile is the best.
Now I posed next to the Batmobile at the CNE.
Cool. I remember.
I have a Polaroid somewhere of me.
My friend has a Polaroid
on it. Yeah.
I remember that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. I think we're gonna end it off there. Because we kind of we
went to a Batman thing.
We went to a Batman. But okay, guys. So tomorrow night, Space Hunter versus Metal Storm. I have a clear winner for that one for me. Sean, are you going to be able to make it?
I'm not going to make it, but I didn't get a chance to rewatch Space Hunter, but I'm pretty sure it's Space Hunter, right?
Okay, all right. So
my thought would be that look, I listened to Charlie's thing.
I did not. I stopped. I listened for about 15 minutes and I stopped.
Okay, so I won't spoil anything for you, but I did enjoy it.
Okay.
And and Charlie's cool. I only know him through these things that we've been doing. But but he appreciates this kind of cinema the same way we do. He appreciates the effort, right? So,
yeah. That's what I'm pumped up for too. So,
right, yeah.
All right, so that's tomorrow night, guys. Hope to see you guys there. That'll be it. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.